Has started out quite well. It's going to be exciting best of 5.
Yeah, definitely. I think that if we kind of take a step back for a moment and just briefly discuss what we actually saw there, I can understand why Dignitas feels that they can potentially get away with these kind of Tracer antics, even going up against things like a Varian and a Brightwing, but you're going up against Fnatic. They're very rarely going to allow you to get away with those kinds of things, and definitely not let you get away with that kind of slip up where Xaylia was going in between that area. So I think a bit more. I don't want to call it respect from them in the draft, because they're not disrespecting Fnatic by any means, but they feel like they can get away with a little bit more than maybe they should.
Yeah, at the highest level, the smallest mistake becomes such a pain for your team to win there. And there was a small mistake there where Xaylia did get picked off, and all those focused auto attacks that came from the team burned him down, and then they just opened up the avenue to win the game. And that's a small mistake. So you have to be careful. Make sure that you set yourself up to have band-aids for those mistakes that come your way. Let's get ready here for the next battleground, as we'll be seeing where our teams will be fighting and trying to get set up for Katowice. Fnatic, man, continuing to look for more wins. Fnatic will just finish out on Sky Temple. We are going to... Ooh, we're going to Cursed Hollow. So that means Bakery and Crypt continue to value first pick more here than the Battlegrounds.
Yes. I think it's probably going to be a Malfurion first pick again. I think that they realize, or at least they believe, that Bakery is better on that hero than every other hero, and I think they see that as a linchpin to a lot of their strategies. Again, I think that Tyrael's going to be a huge focus, especially on this map. It's Cursed Hollow.
Yeah.
I won't be surprised to see it very early.
Valla also goes with a little bit more here. That Hungry Arrow build, man, I've been running it, and I can see why.
It's great.
Teams are in love with that build.
Yep.
So Dignitas highlights Dehaka as the ban. Could they be going for ETC, actually, instead of Malfurion? Because I don't think you give away ETC to Breeze.
Yeah, there is that theory, I suppose.
Wow.
Okay.
So Malfurion ETC for Fnatic? I feel like that's...
I think Malfurion ETC would be a great pick.
Yeah, I feel like
but
that's
then
a pickup.
On the other side, Dignitas would then take Tyrael and something. Possibly Rehgar, because I don't know. I don't think they want to go into this game with Falstad and Brightwing. I think that the Falstad is enough global for them. So Varian and Malfurion, they're loving this Varian.
Wow,
a
Varian
lot.
more than ETC. Has the day and age changed here? Where Varian is the first pick for our team. It's become a thing in Korea. Seen tons of Varian pickups, and now EU seems to follow suit here. Dignitas to the right will get their ETC, and there's a Rehgar that you were alluding to.
Yeah, so we got our ETC, we got our Rehgar, we got our Malfurion. It's just Varian that we have to start thinking about a bit more. Clearly, you wrote it in your big letters yesterday.
I even have it circled right here. You see that? Confirm it for everyone at home.
Yeah, okay,
circled.
You do have it circled.
Sonja and Varian circled as two heroes.
Sonja's slightly outlying on that circle, but Varian's right in the center of that circle.
Sonja was an afterthought again for some reason. Okay, so Varian and Malfurion to the left we picked up for Fnatic. Now we're thinking about bans. Falstad, ETC, Rehgar. Does the ban make sense here to get rid of another warrior? I don't think so. You can run solo warrior. They're actually highlighting Ragnaros as their ban.
It is interesting that they're doing this. It makes me think that... Do you remember back to that game that they had on Sky Temple where they had the weird comp and Shrimpy ended up on Ragnaros, and I was like, this is a little bit off because of all the roles? I think maybe they're not as keen about playing with it. I think that they would much rather have Wubby on something else, something like a Zeratul still, or a second warrior.
I think Ragnaros has also started to evolve slightly in terms of how he's used on this battleground as more of a delay tactic. And when you have Falstad or another global hero on the opposing team, you don't want delay tactics to be available. So Ragnaros getting banned makes sense here for Fnatic.
If this variant comes in every single time, is it just going to force Team Dignitas to ban Li Ming every single time? It looks like it.
I think so. The threat of what it can do in the late game. First off, it burns cleanses like crazy. So if you get a cleanse burned, you suddenly have the next Warbringer that happens for Varian to be an easy setup for Li Ming. Mirror Ball into Orb chunks almost every single squishy down to less than a quarter health.
Oh, yes.
And you don't want to deal with that. So I think I agree with you. Every time we see Varian banned out, it's going to be a Li Ming pickup as a ban.
So we are looking for Wubby, Quacknix, and Shrimpy. So there's a lot of variants there. We could easily have a second warrior available here for them. We could have Tyrael Greymane or Greymane coming in later on if they really wanted it. Shrimpy likewise.
Oh,
Chromie Tyrael.
Whoa, okay.
That's... Okay, so this is the wildest map we've seen Chromie on to date in HGC Europe, right?
And that automatically explains the Ragnar's Man 2, Sulfur Smash just being such a pain against her. You don't want to have to use Sanctification or even maybe pick up Timeout because we've been seeing reaching through time for Chromie, which is great on this battleground.
Yes.
This is the first time we've seen it on Cursed Hollow, though, for Fnatic. With Tyrael, too.
Can they threaten? Can Team Dignitas pick up something like a Zeratul here and cause issues to Chromie?
Yes, they can, but then you worry about the Greymane last-second pickup. Chromie and Greymane are actually a duo that I think is just as scary as Tyrael and Greymane, just because of the temporal loop setup, but also the shifting sands at the same time are incredible for Greymane to get his engages and work on his auto attacks. He is a great finisher, and Chromie is a wonderful opener.
Right.
So the combination is incredibly powerful. Zeratul, though, if he's able to dive on top of Chromie, Greymane can clear that up and help out with the bronze talents. There is the Tychus and the Thrall here. I actually really hope it's Sundering, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, just open part the seas and get to Chromie fast. Or just... Thrall used to be the absolute go-to for flanks. You remember, like, towards the end of 2016, it was like, what do you want to flank? You want to come in with a Sundering, with a Thrall, and just get in there. And so that would be cool to see. Who is going to be playing that is interesting. I guess it is.
I hope it's Greymane. I really do. You get solid poke with the Gillian Cocktail. You have the poke with Chromie, and then you have the finish potential whenever you finally do break down that opposing team. You're going to be burning ETC while he is kind of a tanky tank. Chromie, if she's able to hit a Deep Breath into or Dragon's Breath into a Sandblast, can just chunk that front line.
I too would like Greymane. I mean, we're waiting for Quacknix's choice here, right? So he's been playing like Falstad, Valor, Sylvanas, Greymane. I think something like Greymane to kind of aid Tyrael, have your power behind it, and Hammer again. Wait a minute. Shrimpy played both of those, so now I guess it's going to be Quacknix on the Hammer.
Guess it's now Hammer time. For Fnatic. I didn't even mean to like...
That was the least lackluster. I guess it's Hammer time.
I wasn't even like trying to put a pun in there. I was actually just like, that's my brain thinking right now. I guess Fnatic is just putting a lot of value into this Hammer. It works here. Well, I still think Sundering now becomes even more of a pickup for the team here.
Yeah.
Instead of Earthquake, just because you have two targets that you want to be able to disrupt, which is both Chromie and Hammer. And so Sundering just makes a lot of great sense here for Dignitas, unless you get insane Earthquake Thrall, but then you still have Sanctification that comes out. I like the idea of just long-range poke and slowing things down, but Dignitas has that fall set pick, which is pretty massive here, because you can get that soaking potential, and they can delay just as much as Fnatic.
The power behind what we're seeing here from Fnatic, for me, is terrifying. Like, if this works, if everything works in tandem with one another, it is terrifying. So much damage. If they get one pick, they're going to be able to push hard. That's something that Chromie suffers from, and we've seen that many times from them on Tomb of the Spider Queen. They've had great control over the map, but then when it's come to, all right, it's time to push, lads, let's go. Like, that's what Chromie does.
It's running. I'm ready to push.
We're going. Like, Hammer, technically, will bring that.
Yeah.
That kind of, like, the weakness that Chromie doesn't have when you want to put yourself really established on the map.
They have setup. They certainly do. We'll see how they shakes out here in game number 2 here. Fnatic taking on Dignitas, and we're moving into it. Cursed Hollow.
All right. Game number 2. And to the left-hand side, we will see Smexy going to be playing the Malfurion. It's going to be Breeze on the Varian. Next up, Quacknix. This time will be on Sergeant Hammer. Shrimpy on the ever so cute Chromie. And finally, Wooby on Tyrael. What a comp to push them to potentially 2-0.
That's right. To the far right, Bakery will be showing off his Rhaegar. I haven't seen Rhaegar from him in a long time here. One of his great aggressive supports. Snitch here will be showing off the Tychus, Mene on Falstad, and then last but not least, Azalea on Thrall.
Now, as much as Dignitas might not have anticipated these compositions, it's still something that they're kind of familiar with. Chromie is a great substitute, actually, for Li Ming when it comes to the Chromie Varian taunt comp. So you can see a lot of damage coming out from that charge into taunt. Although that's a lot of damage on Wooby, but it should get out with Eldraine's Mine. So what we're going to have to see here is good cleanses straight out the gate on that first combo of Varian and Chromie damage, but it happens so often that I'm a little bit scared for Team Dignitas here.
Fnatic does have that setup you were talking about before the draft here in the bottom. Chromie and Sergeant Hammer just sieging upon the turret.
Scary.
All Falstech can do there is drop down a couple of the hammerings and attempt to slow it down, but it's not one that you can slow down too easily.
But this is the exact good response here from Team Dignitas, which is they're looking to counter push on the other side.
Yeah.
You can't defend this easily with what you have available to you, so just look for value elsewhere, do exactly the same to your opponents, and put them on an even keel.
Turret Slayers, Fnatic. Grab the turret's bottom, immediately Hammer maneuvered her way to the middle lane and continues a split push here with the damage here. JPL moves in for a fearsome power slide. However, Cracknix instantly unsieges and walks away there, especially with the scout there from Smexy. That scouting drone really coming into aid here.
I love that they're looking to rotate for towers with this comp because it has the power behind to do it. It's kind of like how you play, or how at least I play Vikings comps. I play Vikings, I tell the other four to just go and get all the towers, not necessarily the forts, get all the towers, get yourself a good lead, and then when tribute fights come along, you can be in a lead, potentially in terms of talents.
Well, they have stayed even here, but the turrets in the middle are low on health. Brawl continues that push on the top. Dignitas, while they do see the turrets being pushed away, you mentioned the counter attack they had. They pushed on the top turrets themselves, and that gave them the experience here to be even. So far, Fnatic hasn't gotten too much of an advantage off of this strategy, and Dignitas has fared well in their defense.
Yep.
2 minutes. Time for Giants. There they are. They are grabbed. Where does the tribute spawn? Who gets the RNG gods in their favor? We'll find out within the next 30 seconds here. Oh, Schwimpy, though, does get engaged on. There it is. That's another point, too.
Die, gnome, die. Anyway, like, that's... yeah, first blood on towards the gnome / dragon / thing. So...
Falstad and ETC are actually incredibly powerful against Chromie. ETC stage dive breaks any time traps, so when he goes for the stage dive, it does just enough damage to break them, so he can go for an engage at any point, and Falstad can help assist with a fly-in, so you have two that could hop on Chromie. Protection will need to be important for this team.
He just used Eldruins, right? Oh, so he's actually using forwards. Oh, Whoopi, this is the only way he can try and get out. Thankfully, he used Heroic Reforging to hit Bakery initially, and he gets him away for a second, trying to be healed up over across the ravine, looking for another cooldown on towards Eldruin's Might because he didn't have the cooldown reduction from Heroic Reforging. Is he out? No. Come on. Nice try, Whoopi.
Buying time at this point. Yeah. Finally will be taken out, but that was...
Blow up a tower.
Quite a lot of time actually grabbed there. There was some experience grabbing the middle lane that Dignitas missed out on because of Whoopi having an escape. However, they are still ahead here, and they also have a tribute fort getting low on health, though. Here comes JPL looking for an engage, but with the thrusters, Cracknix will run away.
I mean, the kind of damage that they got done down there is, you know, in part because of the amount of time Whoopi bought up towards the top. You know, they're committing 2 to that chase. Admittedly, Smexy had come for a single heal to try and get him out there, but they realized that Eldruin's Might wouldn't have been off cooldown to launch him across there. So quite a bit of damage towards the bottom. Nicely done.
That it is. In terms of builds, Schwimpy is going for his standard build that we've seen him run constantly. Yep. Bronze Talons into Dragon's Eye, going for Burst Comp, which kind of makes me think that we're going to be having the Temporal Loop. If you can get Cleanse used, and you're going to have Cleanse used often because of Varian going for the taunts with the Warbringer, you should have moments where you open up that Temporal Loop.
I've realized that with my Die Gnome Die, I've sworn my allegiances to the Horde, which secretly, I mean, for a long time I was Horde, like 10 years. So, played Alliance recently, though. It's a bit weird. It's a bit strange.
Aren't they more shiny, the Alliance players?
They're more shiny and pretty, I suppose. Yeah.
How do you want to be pretty, man?
I don't know.
You're pretty in real life. You're pretty in video games.
Am I not pretty in real life?
You are pretty. I'll give you a compliment, man. Oh, hang on. Rhaegar in trouble. Big stun here from the Varian Warbringer. JPL comes in for the assist. That will be the power slide, and Bakery will be pretty himself here as he gets the escape.
Yeah, nice. Not too bad. Keeping all of his faculties intact, so he's okay. And Schwimpy will channel that and keep himself good to go. So now, Fnatic, where do they look for more attacks? Again, they're really going to gain a lot of steam behind Varian and Chromie once level 10 does hit for Varian at least. Obviously, Schwimpy now going for slowing sands, so we will see that cause some issues here for Dignitas when it comes to those tribute fights.
Big concussive blast there from Cracknix from knocking TC away. However, in the middle, Snitch is being forced to retreat. He does dodge that Dragon's Breath, and we are actually going to be having the Shifting Sands at level 8 here for Chromie. So Control will be the name of the game. And it's kind of interesting how Temporal Loop, the first couple weeks, were the main go-to, and now we are slowly moving into the slowing sands here for the takeout.
All right, so we will have now Cracknix just backing off there for a moment. and Xayah just moving down towards the bottom. Again, what you mentioned in the draft is very astute, which is that a lot really is on Thrall to try and find those flanks. I think you're still hoping for Sundering, right?
I am. I'm hoping for a stage dive in Sundering. So you stage dive the Chromie, break that little time trap he has set up, and then you go for the Sundering for the hard engage, and then you just burn down Chromie, and this prompt fumbles.
Yeah, even a stage dive would be good, but he's gone for Mosh.
Oh, man. So we're going to have Mosh Pit, we're going to have Odin, and what are we getting from our Thrall? I really wish it was stage dive. I think it's one of the best counters against a Chromie player.
Because the thing is that if you don't catch the Chromie, you're taking guaranteed big damage.
Yeah.
Right? As the ETC.
Yeah, but the thing too is that you pull the Tyrael and the Varian back. Ooh. However, we'll wait it out, see what will occur here for our team. Dignitas still elects to hold on to the Thrall pick.
Yeah, this being held this long, come on, it has to be a Sundering. Like,
I think it's the best tool for dealing with the combat Fnatic has. I see a world where you get a big, hard engage, you draw up the Earthquake, and then you're good to go, but that requires a massive flank, and for the opposing team not to pick you off.
Right.
With the level 1 talent giving vision, Chromie should be able to set up to be able to watch out for those flanks.
I would say so as well. So let's see as they're going to have this going on down up towards the top, taking these giant camps. The thing is that looking at Thrall's build, you know, actually him prioritizing a little bit more sustainability with the level 1 talent in the block means that he does want to be looking for those flanks. He does want to be kind of in the middle of everything, trying to just find the back line. So this is an important tribute for Fnatic to fight over.
Yeah, that block is also a big call because of the bronze talons that comes from Chromie, but also Sergeant Hammer with the focus attack. If you can negate one of those, you're sitting pretty here. Tyrael, though, does get picked up in the middle of the map here. As it was
he delayed.
Falstad does head to the top. Can they stop it? Earthquake was a choice. The Mighty Gust is too late.
I think that was planned. I think the death of Tyrael was slightly planned. He was trying to delay time. That Earthquake was picked up. But yeah, and then timeout has been chosen for our level 11 for Chromie.
Just throwing it out there. Sundering could have stopped that. And then Falstad would have stood up for Mighty Gust. Throwing it out there.
Was he close enough?
He was close enough. The Sundering would have connected with Chromie. Sorry, I have a cough here. Thrall on the right side here. There has been Earthquake been picked up. We also have Falstad that used Mighty Gust there. Mosh Pit was also used to help in securing that kill. So, Fnatic and Dignitas are tied on tributes, 2-2 at the moment.
Yeah, so we'll be now just kind of try and clean up what is down towards the bottom. Again, I really do believe that death, therefore, will be planned, just making sure that they can guarantee themselves not having to battle over that tribute location for a long, long time. Get themselves to 2-2, try in between that tribute and the next one to get themselves towards 13, where Dignitas is currently propelling themselves forwards against Fnatic. And see where they can go from there. Yeah,
main goal for Dignitas right now is to try and push in their lanes as much as possible so they can set up for the next tribute phase. If they set up first before Fnatic, Fnatic has a hard time going for the engage. However, if Fnatic is there first, they have incredible setup. We've talked about it over and over again. You have your Sergeant Hammer, you have your Chromie with the time trap, and you also have Varian for the engage. Dignitas does maneuver their way down. JBL leading the charge here. Thrall is also coming and falls at the bottom.
Yeah, it's going to be up for Malfurion actually to try and delay this for a little bit. Hammer's up towards the top as well, has Napalm. Chromie's now positioned herself a little bit better here as Shrimpy so that she can try and delay this out too. And Fnatic don't want too much of this, but they're going on towards Hammer. Kraken's very vulnerable, and he will go down. Slowing Sands as well as the roots here, trying to zone them out and stop them from getting on towards us. Whilst Wolby's capturing, Gus comes out from the bottom. Good delays.
Yeah, nice last second Gus here. Manny coming from the left with Hammer being down. Fnatic will be forced to retreat. Tyrael on the top right side, but Bakery will be able to grab the tribute. That pick on Hammer gives the key here to Dignitas to begin grabbing their curse, the first one here of the game.
It comes down to the fact that Dignitas was very quick to position themselves around this tribute, and they had better angles, I feel, than Fnatic did. Very much so. So they were able to seize the opportunity there, get onto Hammer, kill him off, and then there was just no punch from Fnatic anymore. Like, Chromie, without reaching through time, just can't poke from anywhere near as close there, or anywhere near as far, I should say.
That's a good point. Angles are very important in this game. Line of sight and being able to break them.
Yeah.
And Dignitas having the better angles there, had better knowledge of where their opponents were because they had better vision, which set themselves up to go in for that engage and get Hammer on the top left. So yes, moments like that are important. That's why rotations getting towards the tributes are something we will continually talk about here in the game. Quackness now is set up here in the middle. Doesn't matter too much. Dignitas can play slow, continue their poke. Odin comes in. There's a big play here from Mane. Big Mighty Gust, power slide into a cleanse from Smexy. The silence goes off. Thrall's me kited away here. Snitch still in the back right is bringing in the auto attacks, but Breeze is looking for the solid engage. Can he get it? No. Everyone from Dignitas will retreat and they take a fort.
Xaylia went so deep for that hammer kill. Almost got it. One more auto attack I think would have cinched that kill, but not to be. Quacknix, as well as the rest of the team did there, react very, very fast. Cleaning things up now, getting themselves back on even footing, but it is difficult. What, Team Dignitas is playing very well.
The more I think about it, the Slowing Sands and Earthquake here. Earthquake, while you don't get the hard engage you want, it does give you a solid disengage when Slowing Sands has been thrown onto your team. So we saw an engage where Odin moved forward to get in the damage, but he had to go through the Slowing Sands. But the Earthquake being procced allowed for Dignitas to walk away. Had the Earthquake not been there, then possibly we would have had Varian going for the engage and starting to get kills. So there is trade-offs to the heroics that you get. And Earthquake is working out and gives Dignitas the window to walk away from a fight if it doesn't work out.
True, true. Look at when they were taking that boss, they anticipated their opponents also taking the other boss on the other side, but did you see the perimeter that they had set up? 2 scouting drones, they had a time trap, and they had Slowing Sands, like as you can see here, and mines.
Yeah, you're not getting in there.
Yeah, so that was them just setting up a very good position for a comp that doesn't actually kill boss that fast, because Chromie doesn't kill it that fast, even with Bronze Talons. So I like that, even though they were never under threat.
And Dignitas chooses to engage with their boss here, and it makes sense. They had a fort in the bottom that could slow down the boss pushing in. They have Odin set up, and they also have 16, so they go for the aggressive play. Breeze goes in for the engage on JPL. He does get chunks here, as well with the Sandblast connecting with JPL. Boss is now doing damage to the keep. Can Odin help assist here? No, the Slowing Sands, Wubby, and Breeze are playing aggressively, and they will deter Dignitas from moving in on the keep.
Yeah, the Slowing Sands is brutal for that, you're right. And now Dignitas here is just going to rotate around to middle, get themselves some towers wherever they can. They haven't even cared too much about this boss over on the other side. They've known that it's not going to get a huge amount done, as they're trying to exploit the fact that they do have 16 before their opponents. And they got quite a bit going there. That was good.
Yeah. Yeah, they certainly did eat a lot there. And it all comes down to having that big advantage. Now, the trade-off was you go for the big advantage, you get some damage on the keep, but you give your opponent some advantage on their own. As they got a fort, they got 2 turrets there, and the experience lead for Dignitas goes from 2 levels down to 1. And with it being 16 for Fnatic, it's not too big of a deal. So the trade-off, while great for Dignitas in terms of damage, it gave Fnatic a chance here to get to a spot where they're on even footing with Dig.
All right, so Fnatic going to try and move down to rival this spot. Dignitas is setting up a perimeter because they know that they don't want to give this over to Fnatic, want to buy as much time for someone to potentially channel, but they have been moved back. There's Breeze quite next towards the bottom. That's a good Slowing Sands location. Ooh, gets away.
Power slide away from JPL, but still taking the damage there initially. Low on health, Bakery will try to top him off. Wubby is going to get knocked by the grenade. This third tribute being grabbed for Fnatic will earn them a curse.
If everything lines up for Fnatic, they just blow someone up. It's Taunt into Chromie combos, into Quacknix actually dropping Napalm. Xaylia! Oh, geez, he was lurking down towards the bottom there, looking for Quacknix to just overextend on towards Mene. That's going to be a combination on towards Snitch at the top, as Wubby will launch himself forwards.
Clever bait there by Mene. Xaylia unfortunately not able to get the engage he wanted to take out the Sergeant Hammer. Schwimpy has been chunked on the back left. However, she can play from range, so not too big of a deal. JPL engaged on. Another taunt comes out, and Scepter Healing pops out. Bakery with the heal. Starts the channel at the same time. Wubby going for the engage. Bakery is being peeled by his team, but Snitch will take some damage, and we have the Napalm preventing the tribute from being grabbed.
Look at the damage!
Here. Holy Ground at the same time. JPL low on health.
Yeah, Wubby's just going to back off here for a moment. The thing is that Rehgar, as a healer here, without things like Tidal Wave and talents, I don't think he can really compete with that kind of damage coming out as long as Fnatic draws out a fight for as long as physically possible. And look at how much mana Smexy still has, for example, compared to this. Fnatic has got to be very, very happy with the position they're currently in, especially with that ETC kill. A great holy ground there to lock him in, and that is a brilliant curse for Fnatic.
That it is. Everything he used here for Fnatic and Dignitas on that one tribute. Now this keep is vulnerable for a full engage. And it's kind of a repeat of last game. We had Dignitas in a pretty solid spot on Sky Temple, and then one kickoff happens, and suddenly Fnatic just takes keeps.
They can't be threatening, surely. They're just going to take this and then maybe rotate. 20 seconds until ETC is back up. Breeze is just looking to position forwards once again.
I don't know. If they get 18 here on the keep, they get Enduro Anomaly, get set up around Hammer, and they can just seep down. on this core.
And a whole anomaly with a hammer. That's actually sickening.
With time traps everywhere, you have the mines from Sergeant Hammer, you have the peel from Breeze and Wubby.
Yeah, they just wanted the 2 keeps getting out. I mean, you could have risked it. You could have risked it, but I think that Fnatic is more than happy to say, okay, we just killed a keep in mid lane before a fort went down. You don't see that every so often.
You don't.
Ooh,
double slow here.
Pocket of time.
Wow, so the mana cost, while cheap already, is completely gone now. And this is grabbed for one, to keep the pocket of time there consistently. It also increases the slow from 60 to 80%, and that bodes well for the Executioner.
Isn't that a tactic that we used it like in first school or primary school? Pocket sand? Isn't that like, you just kind of like, when you're in a fight with someone, you pull out your deadly pocket sand and you blind them?
You're a dirty fighter, Kalaris.
That's what you do.
No, it needs to be an even matchup, man.
No, of course not. You fight dirty, you win the fight, you kick them when they're down, pocket sand.
All right, remind me to never fight you, man. Jesus.
Oh, no, you know,
I'll fight you blind. I'll learn how to hear.
I'm a ruffian. I'm a scoundrel.
Another deep breath, or Dragon's Breath here on ETC, low on health. Ancestral's too late, and JPL falls again here. As Dignitas is forced to retreat, Fawcett immediately heads to the middle lane. Thrall heading to the top here to soak that level 20 boss. Will be the call here for Fnatic.
Yeah, so nicely done. Very, very nicely done. But Dignitas realizes, though, that boss is going to be done, so they've gone up to their own as well. They have to equalize out somehow. Jeez, look how much this game has just turned on its head.
It's what happened in game 1, too.
Yeah.
The moment a keep opens up, Sergeant Hammer just becomes incredibly powerful. You have the boss push your way. All the attacks come together for the slowing sands and the Executioner. Boss will be grabbed for Dignitas on the top to give them a chance here. If they do defend, they will have a keep taken out.
I mean, they're making this hammer look fantastic in both games, and they're not. It's been 2 different players playing it, and they're not sieging up. Again, you know, they're only sieging up when it is an outnumbered situation. They know it's 4v5 right now. Quacknix isn't under much pressure. He can siege up, get free damage done. Varying quite low, though. Sanctification is going to be thrown down. Big red button laying in some damage. Nobody gets hit by it, though, as Team Dignitas will slowly defend, but the boss is the big issue here.
Level 20 still here, though, for Dignitas, and that's going to be great
Gust.
for them. The Gust coming from the side. Oh, the timeout and the ice block here. The Quacknix will be pushed into the fight. He's able to walk away with the thrusters. Mainly being auto attack to death, though. Breeze goes to the counter engage. Beautiful play by Fnatic. You saw both members here, Malfurion and Chromie, being ready for that big mosh pit, though, does go off. Malfurion is being focused down. No ice block is available. Smexy in trouble. The core, though, is down to 10% already. And Fnatic takes game number 2 and will go up 2-0 in this series.
Yeah, 2-0 in this series so far. That means they are 1 game away from qualifying to the Western Clash. For Fnatic right now,
no pressure.
No pressure.
No pressure.
But they're doing it with Hammer and having a Chromie on Cursed Hollow that looked really good, apart from that first death at the beginning of the game.
Yeah, and I hate to hammer on it. I didn't mean to actually do that. I keep doing these puns here.
You did.
I really think that if you are going ETC, you have to go stage dive because you have to get engaged at some point. You're not going to have a frontal engage against a Sergeant Hammer and a Chromie in any way, shape, or form. They are in their element. You need to disrupt that element. A stage dive and a Sundering, I think, could have been great there for Dignitas.
I think it could have had power. The one concern I have then is Fnatic having things like timeout and stuff. Like, are they too far in the back line? Someone like an ETC, is he too far in the back line to then just kind of be a target whilst timeout? He's just sat there and waiting.
That's a trade-off. They went for the Earthquake to slow down the fight because they wanted to have some kind of advantage, especially around the tributes. I think you have to go for the power play against a Chromie. Regardless, we'll figure out how it'll work out. We're getting ready for game number 3. We'll be right back.
Wake up to find that me and my friends are lost. Again! No one said it was your fault, Olaf. But if there's one thing we're good at, it's... getting lost? No, Baylog, we're good at... Now what? Listen, I'm trying to say that if we stick together, there's no obstacle